Today, on the OnLion News Network, we will be showing you a retiring headmaster, a great coach's 200th win, a great wrestling coach who is no longer with us, and a great alumni athlete.
Also, we will be reporting on new coaches, an e-waste drive, Humans of Lovett, and more on the OnLion News Network.
Welcome to this broadcast of ONN. I am James Ober.
And I'm Bennett Callenbergs. Our current headmaster is retiring. Tyler Lamberson reports from the upper school.
At the end of the 2017-2018 school year, the headmaster, Billy Peebles, will be retiring. He has been at Lovett for 14 years, but this is his 36th year teaching. He first taught at Virginia Episcopal School. He has made many wonderful changes for Lovett, and he's a great person. A lot of people will be sad to see him go, but excited for him to start a new part of his life.
I think everyone will be sad to see him go. I think everyone will remember how much he has done for our community. So I think he's going to be someone that we will forever admire because he has brought so much here. And I hope that our community will welcome the next person in with open arms.
He's done a lot with changing the way the campus looks. When I got here 10 years ago, the football team was actually changing in a trailer. And so since he's been headmaster, they actually were able to build the athletic facility.
We've become a much more diverse school in terms of the diversity of our student body and our faculty. And I think there's a stronger sense of community, a closer sense of community than ever. And I'm grateful for that.
When I first heard, my first thought was I was happy for him. He's been here at Lovett for so long, and he's been in education for, I believe, over 30 years. And so it's definitely well deserved that he retires.
Mr. Peebles has been a big part of Lovett by leading the school very far. Everyone will remember what he has done.
I just have always had a lot of respect for the school, its faculty, its philosophy, its spirit, its sense of community. So for those reasons, I feel fortunate to have come here.
Mr. Peebles has also made people feel good by changing their lives. He has created an environment and community that is nice to come to. He knows the names of all the faculty and many students. He is sad to leave the Lovett community. Lovett has been a big part of many lives.
I think he's impacted our school the most in just emphasizing relationships. I love that he walks through each of the school buildings every single day, and he can greet every faculty member. He can greet a lot of students by name.
I would just like to thank him for everything he's done for me personally and being so welcoming here for my first year. He's gone out of his way multiple times to check in with me and see how I'm progressing. So I'd just like to say thank you and have a great retirement. You deserve it.
Mr. Peebles actually gave me an opportunity to become dean about 4 years ago, so I appreciate all his guidance and all his support and all his mentoring, and so it's sad to see him go.
The way that he knows people, knows people's names, interacts with others. It's not the everyday way that someone who's a leader of a place the size and magnitude of this place operates.
Thank you. It's just been a great privilege to be here. And, I'm not gone yet, right? I've got about 14 months left and look forward to those 14 months. But I'm just deeply grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this very special community.
Tyler Lamberson reporting from the Lovett School, OnLion News Network.
What a great headmaster, and we know that he will be sorely missed.
Right now, we have Brooks Bradbury, our feature reporter, reporting on Jim Busick.
Jim Busick, who reached his 200th win this year, is being celebrated throughout the school. Earlier this year, March 22nd, Jim Busick, the head varsity lacrosse coach, received a 200 victory milestone. He has been a coach for 13 years at the Lovett School on the riverbank and does not plan on retiring from his lacrosse reputation anytime soon.
I told the other, when they got the email on that telling me what it was, if you'd have told me it was 500 or 50, I would have said, okay. I really, it was a surprise to me as much as anybody. They do all the work. Game time, I just, yell a little bit at the refs and call timeout when I'm supposed to. They're the ones scoring all the goals and making all the great plays.
Every year, Coach Busick has been coaching at Lovett. The team has made it to the championship tournament, been to at least the semifinals 9 times, and won the championship 3 times. This year, the Lovett lacrosse team ended their regular season with a 14-4 record. They ended up being the 6th best team in the state and 99th in the country. They had an outstanding season with many highlights and wins.
I think that I do a lot of the things that I do now, whether it's coaching middle school football or coaching middle school lacrosse or JV lacrosse. A lot of the things that I do come from him. A lot of the sayings that he has, which I think all coaches have a few sayings that they kind of repeat over and over again, and I've definitely copied some of those.
Coach has definitely encouraged us to grow as people and as athletes, and I think that's really cool. He's been a great mentor for me throughout high school. He could yell a little bit less, which would be nice, but otherwise I think he's a pretty good coach.
What a great achievement from a brilliant coach.
Great job, Brooks. The 7th grade English team organized Humans of Lovett. Symphony Romaine, Ryan Randolph, and Sarah Parham wanted to offer their students the opportunity to explore their local community by interviewing and photographing a person that they might not pass every day, but they've never gotten to know.
The power of a story is a very important thing, and to realize that each person has their own unique story, and the more stories we come in contact with, the more that we can grow and understand the world around us.
Diversity indeed. Now over to Zidane Ajani with a story on Jim Glasser, our late wrestling coach.
On March 8, 2017, Hall of Fame coach Glasser passed away. Coach Glasser was a phenomenal coach, mostly famous for his skills as a wrestling coach. Coach Glasser had 16 undefeated seasons, 56 individual state championships, 11 state championships, and 2 state dual championships. This is only some of the progress of Coach Jim Glasser.
Well, he was very competitive. He was a good wrestler himself, good athlete. He was a very good athlete at everything that he did. I think what inspired him mostly was he hated to lose. And so he was driven by wanting to win, but he was also driven by wanting to get the best out of you. So he got the most out of himself as a competitor, and he got the most out of his athletes by trying to get the best out of them. So, because sometimes he didn't always get the best athletes here at Lovett, but he would turn them into good wrestlers by saying, or whatever sport he coached, by saying, we will get the best out of it.
It's hard to get as many victories as he had, hundreds of victories, and have a high winning percentage. That's pretty hard. It'll take a lot for anyone to achieve that status.
Even though Coach Glasser died, he will remain a legend forever.
I think he had a lot of technique he was famous for. The biggest thing he was, I think, famous for was consistency. All of his wrestlers did the same moves, and they did them really well. So I think it's more of a consistency that he had with his technique.
He cared a lot about his athletes, and he did whatever he could to help them improve, and he'd always be on your side. He'd do whatever it takes for you to win and do well.
Coach Glasser was known for his competitiveness. He perfected the moves that he was taught and taught it to his students. He expected the most out of his players.
He's a very demanding coach. Expected an awful lot out of his players. So I don't know if there was any specific technique that he used other than he just had that high level of expectation and then push his guys to be the best they can be.
Coach Glasser's techniques, he kept them pretty simple. So double legs, single legs, half Nelson. So everything he did was pretty simple as far as technique-wise. But he made sure the guys could do things perfectly.
He was known for perfecting simple moves to make them very dangerous and surprising. Coach Glasser has been coaching for 40 years in multiple sports.
He was here for 39 years, maybe 40 years, I guess. And most of those, he was head coach of the wrestling program. He also coached girls tennis, girls track, football, baseball, and won state championships in all of them. So in order to surpass him, you'd have to come to the Lovett School and coach for about 40 years.
This is Zidane Ajani reporting from the Lovett School OnLion News.
Wow, what a brilliant coach he was, and how lucky our school was to have him with us. This year, middle schoolers have been playing on some junior varsity team. Middle schoolers playing on the junior varsity lacrosse team. In the 8th grade, students who are outstanding athletes may be moved up to play on the junior varsity lacrosse team to fit their performance. Maturity and friendships of the kids are the issue because they may not have a great time playing with kids older than them. This could cause bad memories of the sport and the players not wanting to pursue a career. I think that it is good for the younger kids to play with the older kids because they will end up getting more experience than their peers. After the break, we will report on the varsity lacrosse team, varsity baseball game, and new coaches. All that and more on the ONN. Welcome back from the break. Now we have Ridley Richard reporting on middle school boys lacrosse.
At the end of the middle school boys lacrosse season, they went 5-6, which is not great, and they would have liked to have done better. Although they do want to win the games, the middle school boys lacrosse experience isn't all about winning. It's more about learning to handle sports, school, and making new friends.
Whenever you're a part of a team, whether you're in 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, whatever, it's a group of people that are together doing something for a really specific amount of time. So sometimes it's a couple months, but it's only that group of people for that particular time. Like when this season is over, that group of people will never be together again. Some people will be in 9th grade, some people will be in 8th grade, some of the coaches won't be around. So I think whenever you're on a team, you kind of bond together, and that's one of the goals every season for every program is to, one, get better at lacrosse, and two, to become a team. And I think we've gotten better at becoming a team and being, having fun playing lacrosse that's one of the goals.
At the beginning of the season, and during tryouts, everybody was so in their own space, if you know what I mean. They weren't talking on defense, and nobody was just talking in line drills or something. But at the end of the season, everybody was talking on defense, and during line drills, we were just chatting and having a good time. So I think that's pretty good.
One thing they all felt like should be changed is start practicing a lot earlier in the season.
Because a lot of teams, they get like 4 or 5 weeks of practice before the first game. We get 1. So that's the biggest thing I would change, just more practice before our first game.
We practiced. We started practicing a week before our first game. It was really bad. Yeah, if we at least got a week or 2 weeks before that, we could have been undefeated easily.
The team did not have the season they wanted, but the point of middle school lacrosse is not all about winning. It's more about making friends, and when they made friends, they felt like they performed a lot better than they would have because they're not afraid to talk and have fun. When I was talking to the team, they all could agree out of their wins Their favorite win was beating Westminster the second time they played them. It was their favorite win because the first time they played them, they lost and they felt like they should have won because they were up in the fourth quarter and just got tired. Also, it was their first game of the season, so they did not practice as much before the game as other games.
Westminster. The second time we played them because we lost to them the first time. We lost them 6-10 the first time, but then we ended up beating them 10-6.
Ridley Richard reporting from the Lovett School OnLion News Network.
Now we have Ben Adams with a report on Robert Winborn.
Robert Winborn is thought to be the best pitcher that Lovett's baseball program has ever seen. In 8th grade, he almost quit baseball, but his coaches convinced him to stay. He was here at Lovett when we won the state championship in 2015. He has progressed into a phenomenal baseball player. He now pitches at Georgia Tech in Atlanta and is a sophomore.
It was good. Robert was always a real competitor.
He's a very hard worker, came out every day, and has always been an incredible baseball player. And I saw him pitching to the next level, and he got there.
You know, Robert had a really good junior season, and then was one of our top pitchers as a senior. He carried us deep into the playoffs, and it was just fun to see him grow as a pitcher and as a player from when he first entered the program as an 8th grader.
He's a really good leader, but sometimes he didn't really show it by emotion as much as he did by his play on the field.
When Robert first came to practice, he did not pitch. He played third base. The coaches saw that he had a good arm and put him on the mound.
He didn't necessarily come in as a pitcher. He played infield for us, and we noticed right away that he had a really good arm, and so we put him on the mound.
Robert Winborn now pitches for Georgia Tech for his second year. Though he is not a starter, he is a reliever. He can now pitch almost up to 90 miles per hour. He has pitched 28 innings at Georgia Tech in his 2 years.
And it's still increasing now as he's playing at Georgia Tech. You know, he probably finished at Lovett throwing 85, 86, and now he's probably up to 80, 88, 89, even 90 at Georgia Tech. So,
Ben Adams, reporting from the Lovett School OnLion News.
The MS boys soccer team have had a rough season, but a great last game. The middle school boys soccer team played Peachtree Charter School on Thursday, April 13th. The Lovett Lions have had a record of 5-6, but Peachtree Charter School have had a record of 3-9. That was the last game of the season for the Lovett Lions, and they were ready for it. Lovett scored twice in the first half and once in the second half. Al Coy scored his first goal of the season in the last game of the season. What a great achievement.
The most effective thing about the team and aspects about the team is the fact that they really try to follow a style of play.
What a great game. There are new coaches on the scene. More with that with Jake Shapiro.
There are many new coaches at Lovett. They're all for different sports. They all have something in common, though. They all have a bigger chip on their shoulder because they were brought in to help improve the team they are coaching. Other coaches aren't new here, so they don't have to worry as much as new coaches. Can the new coaches bring their teams a championship, or do they still need a little work?
I was very happy with the results of our season. If you look at our record, our win-to-loss percentage probably doesn't necessarily back that up to somebody who doesn't know what all went into the season. But if you think about where our team was the very first game to the last game, they made incredible growth. So I was absolutely pleased with that.
You know, it's been a tough season. We've lost a lot of players. It's definitely a building year for us. We've got a lot of young talent coming up. We've had a couple of games that didn't really go our way, but the guys have really put some effort in. We could have done better in 1 or 2 games, but we've qualified for playoffs, so that probably should be good for us right now.
We know if Coach Mon and Coach Sharpton were happy with the results of the season, but why do they do this? Why do they devote their time into coaching these kids?
I've played basketball since since middle school and just fell in love with the game. So after I stopped playing in college, I knew right away that I wanted to be a coach. just so I could stay in the game and start building relationships with kids.
So I'm 45 right now, and I have a couple of injuries that have prohibited me from playing anymore. And my brother is a Division I head coach at University of North Carolina. My dad played in England. He played for South Africa in the Commonwealth Games. So I come from a family of soccer professionals.
No matter what, there are always things you can work on as a coach. Coaches who have been here for a while still have things they can work on. It doesn't matter whether you are new or you have been coaching all your life. There is always room for improvement in any sport, no matter what it is. It could be preparing for games or just keep working on what you're doing till you finally get that one special coaching memory.
So we use a kind of wide range of different things. We watch some game film where we kind of scout opponents. We try and figure out their tendencies. Then we'll build some of that into practice. So let's say they have one girl who's really, really strong. We'll work on how to kind of shut one girl out of the game on the other team in practice. So it's really trying to find tendencies and things of that nature for the other team and then applying it to our practices.
My favorite coaching memory, I would say, if you'd asked me last week, I'd have had a different one, but this week was our game on Tuesday in the first round of the tournament. The girls played awesome. It was just a great team win, and it was a big achievement for us.
All different responses, but they all seem like they're handling their job very well. Jake Shapiro, reporting from the Lovett School OnLion Network.
Thank you for that, Jake. And now we're moving on to lacrosse. Lovett had a disappointing defeat. On Saturday, April 22nd, the Lovett Middle School girls lacrosse team played Wesleyan. Lovett started off great, scoring 2 while Wesleyan still hadn't scored 1. From there, it went downhill. Wesleyan scored 5 goals in quick succession. For the rest of the first quarter, there was not much more excitement. The start of the second quarter, however, brought action with it. Wesleyan scored another 5, but Lovett scored 4 more right after Wesleyan. The game ended Lovett 8, Wesleyan 10.
Right now, we have varsity baseball team and how they have performed this year. Colin Kelly has the latest information.
The Lovett boys varsity baseball team won a state championship last year. Many of the team's best players were seniors that graduated. How much pressure is there on the players after winning the state championships?
Well, obviously we had a bunch of talents last year that left with Aaron Shunk and Freddie Achikar, who are now playing in college, but I feel like there still is the same amount of pressure, but I feel like that's expected every year with Lovett baseball.
No, I mean, I think that was a big thing for the coaches, that you don't need any added pressure. There's already going to be pressure just naturally after winning it last year, but I think that was a big thing to hit on, was not putting any more pressure on you than normal and just going out and play like we did last year.
No, they do a great job of running the program pretty much the exact same way every single year, no matter what. Our expectation is always a state championship, and that's always what we strive for. But I don't feel that there's added pressure. I mean, there's definitely a target on our back from every other school that we played because we were the reigning state champs, but not much added pressure.
Coach Jamie Palmer expects more from the older players through leadership roles and performance, but still has high expectations for the new players.
I think you expect a little bit more as in a leadership role and a guy to kind of bring younger players along, not necessarily tell them to pick up buckets and stuff. They need to be leaders and say, I've been through your rough patch. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah, so they really get the experience from the older guys and help them teach the younger guys how to play. So it comes from within the team.
I'm sure there's some pressure. We've had a lot of success since I've been here, and I think every year it forces the newer players to step up and try and follow in the tradition of Lovett baseball.
Lovett's baseball team is constantly preparing for upcoming games. After losing star players such as Aaron Shunk and Robert Winborn, many of the players and coaches still believe that they have a chance to make state again.
I think we definitely have a chance to go far in the playoffs and even potentially win our state championship. So, yes, I do think we have the potential to.
I'm confident that we have a chance to. I don't know that we will, but I believe that our players give us a chance to win a state championship again.
Well, we had a lot of old players last year. Aaron Shunk, for example, went to Georgia to play baseball. And we have to fill those positions. So I feel like a lot of people have stepped up to the challenge and have taken the task very well and stepped up the challenge. Yeah.
It's interesting because last year was actually the year that we weren't supposed to be that great. We were supposed to have a very average year, and this year was supposed to be our big year. So it's interesting how that worked out. We won state last year, and hopefully go win it this year. That's our goal. Baseball is a sport of failure, and it's all about how you handle those failures, and so it's definitely handling those failures in an appropriate manner to where you can get back to the ups of the season.
This has been Colin Kelly reporting from the Lovett School OnLion News Network.
Well, let's see if they can make that state championship. Now we have Cannon Kleinecht with the varsity football spring practice reporting from the Kilpatrick Stadium.
As the school year gets close to ending, something else starts: football spring practice. The first spring practice is on Monday, April 31st. It's time to find out what goes on during spring practice and what the coaches and players think of it.
Some people would say it's too early to start spring practice. Let's see what some of the coaches and players think. All right.
Is spring practice a good idea?
Yes, if it's done the right way. The good thing about Lovett is our guys do everything. So the majority of our football team also plays baseball, also plays lacrosse. A few of them run track. So we're missing guys, but the guys who are out there are supposed to be out there. Those are the ones who need that extra. So it's always a plus.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but I mean, a lot of people, they may not want to do it because it's like breaking up their sport and things like that. But it's a good idea. Spring practice is good for the younger players because they kind of get thrown into the high school, varsity level, and good to know the players. And if we have to change up something from last year, then it's a good time to put.
Spring practice is just a warm-up to get players comfortable. There isn't much hitting in spring practice. They do that so they can slowly ease into getting used to the heat. It is very hot in August, although lots of people hesitate from using the phrase spring practice and fun in the same sentence, unless not is also in it. To get ready before a game, coaches and players often work out, listen to music, and do things together like have a meal.
I'm a big firm believer in look good, play good. So just look good, coach good as well. So I make sure I'm looking straight. But my energy, I'm just making sure that the energy I have is conducive enough for my guys to have. So I get pretty hyped. So I get up as if I'm playing.
Spring practice is a tough one. I wouldn't say I really enjoy it. It's a fun time to get your pads back on, but it's tough.
Usually I listen to music for about a good hour and a half. Well, usually we have a pregame meal, and then we have a devotional from Rev Allen in the chapel. Then we come and listen to music. I usually go get my wrist taped, and I put different sayings. I write sayings on my tape before the game, and then usually I'm ready to go after that.
Coaches and players seem to agree, despite not winning state last year, it's a new year, so anything could happen. The coaches seem to think that the reason why they didn't win state last year is they knew what to do, but they just didn't execute.
I'd have to say, after this past year, having some question marks in some areas, being able to overcome some of those empty spots, I feel like anything's possible.
The week of April the 18th, Lovett celebrated Earth Week. There was a Lights Out campaign encouraging teachers to reduce their electricity as much, and also the students. There was also a plastic water bottle competition. That lasted all week. The school also had various no uniform days. There was an e-waste drive, t-shirt, and book drive. The highest attraction was the plant sale.
What a great way to help our Earth. Now we go to Kyle Walters with the overview on varsity girls lacrosse.
This year, the varsity girls lacrosse overcame a lot of challenges despite having an 8-6 record. Varsity girls lacrosse was a team that was very experienced with 10 seniors, but had a few freshmen on the team who looked up to them. This team worked well together, had better chemistry towards the end of the year despite the many injuries they had. Now they hope this year was the start of something big for the varsity Lovett girls lacrosse program.
What I really like about Coach Randolph is that he knows a ton about girls lacrosse, and he's really knowledgeable. And so if we have like any sort of question about like a play or like a call that a ref made, it's like really easy to go up and ask him, and he like almost always knows.
And it was really important for us to reach out to the younger players because we didn't want them to be intimidated by us, and we wanted everyone to feel included.
We have a set of twins that are on varsity, Janie and Anna Salmon, who have both been really, really great. They work super hard and they play lots of different positions for us. Janie takes the draw sometimes. Anna's played defense and goalie, and she plays midi too. So they make contributions all across the board, and they bring a lot of personality to the team, which keeps things light, which is great.
The girls and coaches had a lot of great things that happened this year. They still faced a lot of challenges as a team and as individuals.
I feel like we can always work on like talking more once we're like in the game. Like communication is really important in lacrosse, especially on like defense. And so I feel like it's like always like a good thing to like communicate more. Yeah, like we're always down for like learning new plays and like trying new things.
The team had a lot of challenges to overcome due to injuries, inexperienced goalies, and other things, but they found a way to overcome all of them. Despite all the obstacles, the lacrosse team still had lots of fun, and the younger players learned a lot from the 10 seniors. Overall, the seniors will be able to leave the Lovett Varsity Girls Lacrosse program off on a high note due to a successful winning season.
We didn't have a goalie, so I actually had to go and ask around my grade to see if anybody wanted to play goalie, but we got 2 girls who had never played lacrosse before. They volunteered.
I think practicing every day of the week is hard because you expect to like have breaks in between practices, but there's not really any breaks.
I think our decision making sometimes, we're not always entirely sure, situationally when we should go for a goal, when we should throw a pass, when we should really force things, and when we should slow down and take our time. So it's a really hard thing to do until you're at the highest level, to actually think while you're playing instead of just reacting. So I think being a little more thoughtful and really pausing and letting the game slow down.
This is Kyle Walters reporting from Bill Rayleigh Field at the Lovett School for OnLion News Network.
Up next on the ONN, we will have girls lacrosse game, track and field, and varsity soccer. I hope that you guys had an amazing break. And let's continue on the show. Speaking of girls lacrosse, we have a game versus North Paulding. A tough loss for the varsity girls. They played a tough North Paulding squad, losing 20-10. Ryan Randolph has a win percentage of over .500, while North Paulding has a .66. Lovett scored 10 in the first half, and so did North Paulding. But then North Paulding turned on the turbo and got 10 in the other half, while Lovett got 0. The final score, 20-10.
What a tough loss. Spring has brought track and field to the table. With more on that, Chris Millard.
Lovett Track has had an amazing year. The team has had 11 total meets, not including the state playoffs. Both teams are always hopeful this time of year, but especially the girls team, which is coming off a 2015 state championship win.
I'm hoping to break the mile and the 2 mile records, and then just winning state individually and as a team.
I'm hoping I can go show up to the state meet and run the best race possible, and hopefully come home with a win.
The 2017 track team has also set some new records this year. These include Everett Smulders in the 1600 meter as well as the 3200 and Haley Hooper.
2-mile record and the 1-mile record. I lowered my 1-mile record that I already had. I ran a 4:16 mile and a 9:26 2-mile.
Haley Hooper, who's a sophomore, ran 2:22 for the 800 this past weekend at Region. That is number 3 all time for us.
With 2 invitational meets, the team has had an outstanding season, finishing in the top 5 in both invitationals.
To Coach's Invitational in early March, which is where Everett ran that 2-mile. But we had a number of competitors there. And then we had Rumble in the Jungle at Parkview High School, which those invite a lot of 6A and 7A schools.
Of course, with all good, there must be some bad. The track team, with all of their successes, had to deal with their fair share of injuries, too.
Yes, we've had a bunch of injuries. So our top runner, Serena, she came into the season late because she's had an issue with her heel. And I'm a little bit injured right now. I messed up some of the muscles in my hips, so we've been having to work through that.
James Llewellyn, he's a freshman on the team. He's really fast. He jumped up on a bench one day at practice when it was raining, and he slipped and sprained his ankle, and he was injured for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Aside from injuries, the Lovett track team has also faced a new challenge. This challenge was that the whole entire Lovett athletic department moved up to the AAA level from the AA level. This is a higher level of competition and made the season even tougher.
And we see more athletes kind of like how we saw in football. The bigger schools have more athletes. It's kind of the same. And at the same time, everybody who's kind of been on our level kind of stepped it up as well. So just the competition's been a little bit more stiff.
Overall, the Lovett team has had another good season. They are all looking forward to capping it off at States on May 11th. Reporting from the Lovett School, Chris Millard, OnLion News Network.
Wow, those guys must have a lot of endurance. The boys varsity soccer team has a disappointing season. With more information, Landon Kalish.
Another season has passed for the Lovett varsity boys soccer team. They have had a tough but well-played season that has bonded this band of brothers together. We have had some new players, all who have put up a real fight.
Guys have done really well within the region play, and they've still managed to qualify for playoffs.
Just a great bunch of guys. We have 2 wrestlers on our team. One of them's never played before, but he has a heart of gold, and he plays so tough. He's only 5 foot some change, but he can out-jump anybody 6 foot plus. We have a swimmer on our team who's really tries hard, hasn't played soccer before. A couple of rec players. So the fact that they've all gelled together and a good bunch of kids have tried hard, it's been a favorable experience for me.
This season has brought together the players while learning how to function as a team. The members have made memories together, good and bad. In the end, they have made the most of the year.
Personally, this year specifically would probably be saving a penalty, because I play goalkeeper, saving a penalty against against Redan, which led us to win the game, which was really a very good memory, actually.
The team has come closer together and learned how to work together. There is a lot of skill individually. Several members of the team are taking it to the next level.
There's a lot of development on the team because a lot of the guys, I'm starting a whole bunch of freshmen this year.
All my coaches tell me that I can, so I really want to.
I'm actually attending Furman University this fall, and their coaches invited me to one of their ID camps so that I can try and get a position on their team.
They have learned a lot and grown together. In the beginning of the season, the team lost to Greater Atlanta Christian School 6-0, but in the playoffs, they only lost by 1.
It's been awesome. I love the guys. I started playing soccer last year, and so I'm probably not one of the better kids on the team, but they still accepted me, and we all get along really well. And it's definitely soccer practice is definitely one of the highlights of the day.
We're all like a family. we're all like brothers in this team.
The Lovett soccer team has had a hard but good season. Their triumphs and losses has bonded this band of brothers together.
Landon Collish, reporting from the Lovett School, OnLion News Network.
Now, let's go into a soccer game versus Stone Mountain. Wednesday, April 19th, the Lovett boys varsity soccer team had a game against Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain have had a great season with only 2 losses, but Lovett has had a questionable season, winning 4 and losing 14. At halftime, the score was 0-0. 15 minutes into the second half, Stone Mountain scored a goal. 5 minutes later, they scored another. This time, though, it was a great long shot that tipped the goal. Near the end of the game, Stone Mountain scored a third and final goal, working their way through Lovett's defenses.
Lovett just played Westminster in lacrosse. The Lovett Lions' biggest rival, Westminster, played them in a tight, close, and intense game on April 7th. Although Lovett was defeated, they played one of their best games yet. The score was 8-11, and Lovett was going into it with a record of 11-1. Westminster was ranked 4th in the state, and Lovett was ranked 2nd, so you can tell it was pretty tight. Lovett had their eye on the win, but lost with a close and exciting game.
Thank you for that. Lovett has had a new sports training facility with all of the newest technology. Reporting from the Murray Athletic Center, Henry Hicks.
In 2015, the Lovett School completed the Murray Athletic Center. It was donated by the Murray family and named after them. As the Murray Athletic Center was used more and more, it got the nickname of the MAC. Everyone in the Lovett School is allowed to be in the MAC, but only grades 6 through 12 are allowed to use the weight room. In the process of making the MAC, the Lovett School made the weight room, which can hold up to about 85 people, the 2 new locker rooms, and the meeting rooms for teams to plan their strategies.
You know, with the new Mac compared to the old Mac, is the new Mac obviously has a lot more space, and there's a lot more machines. The relative ease of actually working out in the workout room itself has made it considerably easier. Not to mention just the overall layout. The new machines have really, felt like, attracted a lot of the athletes to at least go in there. And so I have seen a huge improvement in the overall strength of some of my players, or at least the ones who have utilized it on a regular basis.
The new locker rooms are way better. Our last locker room that we were in, like my freshman year, was literally like a shed. And there wasn't much space. It was really hot. We had to get fans plugged into the wall and stuff, and the new weight room is way bigger, a lot nicer. You have enough space to move around without bumping into anyone. So
I would really like to have a player's lounge. It would be a great thing, I think. But schematically and from a dollar standpoint, that doesn't really figure into a high school locker room or a high school building like that. But that'd be a neat thing to have for our guys. Any team to go down and just kick back and relax a little bit.
Even though the MAC is a place for hard work, it is also a place to relax.
If there's a home game, then we always meet in the MAC classrooms in the very top, and we do pregame there. And so we always do pregame there, we hang out, and then also we watch film there of the other teams. And then as well, we also do like lineups and other stuff.
I'm not sure that the MAC really necessarily needs anything. Well, in terms of at least within the workout facility, I mean, it's a state-of-the-art facility, and at least from my time working out there, there's not one single thing that I can think of that I would want in there. And even if there was, you know, the best thing about it is you could go and talk to the head trainers, and they'd be able to get you that equipment that you wanted.
This is Henry Hicks, reporting from the MAC, OnLion News.
It is just great to have this new facility. The middle school girls soccer team have had a very good season. They have a winning record of 7-4, which is a winning percentage above 500. The team they played was Peachtree Charter Middle School. The final score was 2-1, with 2 brilliant goals by Leslie Llewellyn. All the action happened in the first half, with Lovett scoring 2 and Peachtree Charter scoring 1. In the second half, it was relatively quiet, and the score remained the same.
We will have varsity boys golf and standout athletes after a quick break.
Welcome back to the ONN. The boys' varsity golf season has just started. Bennett Coker has more on that.
This year, the Lovett Lions varsity golf team has a new leader who is ready for a state championship for his team. This young man is Robert Garatini, a sophomore, who has shot multiple tournaments under par this season.
3, 2, 1. All right. Do you have any standout players so far this year?
Well, our number one player right now is a guy named Robert Garadini, who's a sophomore. He played in a tournament on Tuesday and shot 70, so 2 shots under par, and he shot several other rounds in the 70s. So he's our number one player right now.
In his last tournament, shot a 70, which was 2 below par, which was a pretty good score, and so he really stands out right now.
Has it been a good season for you so far?
Yeah, I've played pretty well in these tournaments so far. Haven't played in too many tournaments, but been shooting around par. So.
Even though Garadini wasn't a part of the 2015 state championship team, he's playing like he wants to carve 2017 on the banners.
How has your relationship been so far this year with the other players?
Well, last year I was the only freshman on the team, so I got to know the juniors and now the seniors on the team a little bit better. But this year I have another sophomore on the team with me, so it's a little better.
Oh, it's been good. We got a solid team this year with 2 sophomores. One of them is pretty not so cool, but scratch that part whenever you do it. But no, we have some good players and 3 seniors on the team, so it's been fun.
Well, I have one of my good friends on my team. Robert's pretty cool. There's some other guys, and it's pretty good overall team.
Robert said he's feeling even more comfortable in the environment of the team this season because of being the only freshman on the team last season and being joined by another sophomore. Now, as the Lions are playing in the last couple of weeks of the season, Garadini is preparing to bring this veteran team some more rings. Bennett Coker, reporting from the Lovett School OnLion News Network.
This year has seen some outstanding athletes. Carson Dodd with more information on that.
This year, many senior athletes will be graduating. Next year, these seniors will be in college, facing harder challenges and be setting more goals to improve their athletic ability. Over the summer, these athletes will have to train to improve their sports for college.
Well, we had several kids who did a really good job for us. Brady Tindall was our starting quarterback. He was also our MVP. He had an outstanding senior year, did a really good job for us. Also played some safety on defense, but didn't do a whole lot of that. But offensively was the guy who really kind of made us go. John Staten was another guy who had a really good year for us, played linebacker, did a good job there.
I think it's going to be a lot harder, a lot bigger people, a lot of expectations, morning workouts at 5 a.m., then practice during the day, and having to balance out with school and everything. It's going to be really tough, but it's also going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Not only are sports so important, but education is too. Like Serena Chapoti, she's going to Columbia for cross country, which is an Ivy League school. In high school, Serena has accomplished many rewards, such as the Coach Wood and Westover Invitational Champion, and has the 3rd fastest 5K in the state.
I think it'll be great because now I'll have a huge group of girls to train with, and then I'm really excited because I love my coach. He's really nice, and I think it'll be different, but a good different.
Brady Tyndall has made 179 rushing yards, 859 yards in total, an average of 3.9 yards per play, and 18 touchdowns last fall. John Staten has 33 rushing yards, 165 yards in total, an average of 5 yards per play, and 1 touchdown. John also has 15 receptions, 116 yards on defense, and an average of 7.7 yards per play. Brady Tyndall will be going to Mercer University, and John Staten is going to Sanford University.
Brady Tyndall on the football team, he came into a position where like the guy in front of him a couple years back was like really great. He was really good. So for Brady to kind of have the year he had this past year, especially and fill those shoes to the way he did, that impressed me. He was a clear leader out there on the football field.
I mean, football here it's pretty tough. They definitely prepare you pretty well, especially with your workouts and everything. And the coaching is incredible here, just like college level. But I think it'll be harder just because, I mean, we wake up super early. It's a constant grind and it's nonstop.
These students hope to continue their sports as they get older and become a better player to have a good season in college, though they will miss going to Lovett. Carson Dodd reporting from the Lovett School OnLion News Network.
Wow, what talented players. The varsity boys baseball team played Westminster in a joyful win. The Lovett varsity team played against Westminster, our rivals, and beat them. The game was at the baseball field on the Lovett campus on Monday, April 4th. Last week, we played them at Westminster and lost at number 6. However, when the Lovett Lions played them at home, they won 8-0. The damage seems that the Lovett Lions are not very consistent because they lost by a good amount, but won by an even goal. The 5th inning, 8-1, and the rest of the game was the Lovett Lions had an average season of 16 wins and 1 loss.
Wow, what a great team. I have even considered playing baseball for them in a few years.
Yeah, if you even have the skills. I'd like to see that. Well, anyways, thank you for tuning in to the OnLion News Network. I'm Bennett Kallenbergs.
And I'm James Ober. Have a great day.